and do like intro. I should give. We're live. We're live. I was just telling Dee Dee, why should we get professional, do like an intro video and stuff, but
Yeah.
we're not there
Have
yet.
music.
Yeah, exactly. Music, a little, the world spinning, dee, 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 that. We should do that. I'll figure it out. I'll eventually get that. Canva is a wonderful thing. All right, welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Commercial Real Estate Morning News Show, and today is healthcare related, and I got my pal Dee Dee in the house. Hey, Dee Dee. Say hi to
Good to be here.
Awesome. And Dee Dee's, you've been in healthcare real estate for a little bit, just a little while, so you kind of know what's going on, which is awesome. So,
I do. 20, 30, I don't know, 40 plus years. Too damn long.
Too damn long. So you never wanted to do anything else, huh? You never wanted
My first degree is a pharmacist, and I after 5 years, I said, nope, that's not me. And then hospital administration, and that was for 25, and had real estate and all that kind of stuff. And so I said, it's time to do something different. Got on the development side. So,
all right. Very
but it's
cool.
always been healthcare related.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, at least you liked it, I guess. Hopefully you liked it. You did for 45
I do. I still do.
Well, that's good. So what are you developing now?
Some large ambulatory outpatient type buildings for 3 health systems.
Oh,
and so very large, 100,000 plus square feet.
Yeah.
So nice. It's nice. And development is definitely coming back, and hospitals and healthcare systems need to take market share or protect what they've got. And it's not just at the hospital or on campus. It's out in where the market is, where the people are.
Yeah, very true. So it's a big shift in kind of the infrastructure of the medical buildings, right, in the U.S., where it's you got some more smaller buildings, kind of regionally focused. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Not everybody has to drive into a hospital or, have to wait to get seen long periods of time. I remember it wasn't even that long ago. It was, I don't know. My daughter broke her arm when she was little, and we had to drive 45 minutes for her to get seen in an ambulance for 45 minutes. And actually went to one hospital that couldn't set her arm. And we had to go from the hospital in North Austin, like way out in Hutto or wherever. And then they had to take her in an ambulance again down to Dell Children's to another hospital with a broken arm because nobody could set her arm. It was just really weird.
Years ago, I bought that large building right next to Dell Children's where all the pediatric specialists are. Yeah, it's a great building. It's got a tunnel that goes over to the hospital.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah.
And the parking deck, which is a great parking deck, on the top level has all solar panels for the cars to park under, and it provides all the electric for that medical building. It's perfect.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they don't pay any electric. They get it all from the solar panels.
That is super cool. I had no idea.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah, that's a neat building. Bought that years ago.
What kind of batteries are they using? That's a whole other.
I don't know. It's a solar panel. What do I,
Yeah, but they're just basically charging batteries. So I'm just interested.
Yeah. And then the tenants don't get charged electric because they all pull from the solar.
That is crazy. That's cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah. It's a great place.
Yeah. Awesome. So you still own it?
Health Peak does, where I used to be.
Oh, where you used to be. There you go.
I bought it when we were DOC or Physicians Realty Trust. And then we merged with Health Peak. So it went over to there, and they still own it. Yes.
Wow. Very cool. Yeah. Well, look at that. But who would have thought? All right. So we have our first story, which basically talks about how cool healthcare real estate is, which, apparently it's a very exciting space. So the trends that I'm seeing are obviously the baby boomers. The last of the baby boomers are finally turning 65, right? There's like 73 million of them are going to turn 65 in 2030. I didn't realize it was that big of a generation. It seems like we've been talking about baby boomers forever, but apparently they're finally hitting retirement age. So yes,
I'm a little past that, I'm in that group. I wish I was still in that group that's turning 65.
Oh, well, hey, I'm like a little bit down. Not really. I don't even know what I am. I think I'm an X. I don't even know. I'm like the forgotten generation. Nobody cares about us because we're not
Okay.
big. Like there's baby boomers and millennials, and I'm in between, and nobody cares about us.
All right.
No, I'm one of those people. But that's interesting how that's I'm assuming that's one of the big trends driving kind of
Sure.
the impacts of the medical or healthcare real estate, right?
Right. No, it is. And with population growth in key markets, that plus the baby boomers is driving demand for healthcare.
Yeah. Is it, and so the trend of the medical office building or the like regional services or whatever you want to call them, not the non-hospital buildings. That's what I'll call them, non-hospital buildings, and the increase that's taking over the care. Is that because of the baby boomers, or is it just because it's just general trends that's what's happening?
Well, there's a couple things. First of all, it's the convenience that the baby boomers want.
Oh,
That's the first generation that we continue to see want convenience, and
hmm,
it's more convenient if your medical care can be located closer to where you work or you live, not necessarily always on the hospital campus.
yeah,
And then you add to it the growth and sophistication of technology is allowing much more care to be delivered in that outpatient setting.
hmm,
You don't have to go to the hospital campus because they're the only ones that has the machine or the specialist that can do something.
right,
So that's driving it. And then
yeah.
finally, reimbursement is saying it's less costly in those environments. And so that's driving it.
So that's driving it. Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's driving. Well, they're both driving it, but yes.
All that is driving the growth in the outpatient ambulatory away from the campus opportunity for real estate.
So, so if, uh, and we were talking about on another show that they can get probably like 95% of the care, right? That they would get at a hospital at a medical office building.
I don't know the exact percent, but it's got to be close to that. I mean, if you think about it, trauma,
Mm-hmm.
transplants, and
Yeah.
significant cardiac events
Right.
really are the ones that drive you to the hospital. I
Okay.
mean, those are significant.
Yeah.
Everything else is really being taken care of. And if it's not completed, they can transfer you to the hospital, but most of the care can
Mhm.
be delivered in that outpatient setting.
Yeah. So, and if it's low, so if it's a surgery you can schedule, you could pretty much do it at an outpatient
Well,
place.
sure.
Yeah, right. So if it's
Yeah.
like emergency rooms are emergency rooms and they need emergency rooms for that,
Right.
that can be
Right.
separate.
Right.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, interesting. Well, that's cool. Works for you because you just happen to be in that space. So the
It
medical,
does.
yeah, it does. So the medical outpatient occupancy, the other story is talking about how it has
Hmm.
92.8% vacancies, like 15 straight quarters of growth of on the occupancy side. Is that the highest that it's been, or has it been higher?
No, that's approaching the highest. It may have gotten to 93 years ago, but that's really up at. And if you look at asset classes, it's one of the
Mhm.
best occupied asset classes there is, and it's been sustainable.
Yeah.
Um, and what's also driving that is in the last 3 to 5 years, there's not been the growth in new development, and so
Right.
occupancy has continued to creep up.
Yeah. So is there a supply issue or not?
Well, when you say supply, there is the issue of hospitals wanting additional market share, and so that's driving the need for more medical buildings,
Hmm.
and so that demand is there.
Yeah.
Um, but anytime you get above, when you start approaching 95%, you're fully occupied, and you have to really look at what's the next occupancy that's needed. But the other thing is, we are not where we were 10 years ago, where we're developing spec
Mm.
medical buildings. That day is not here. And I don't think we won't see that day again.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not that kind of demand.
No. Okay. So they're keeping it kind of in pace with demand right now.
Right,
Hopefully.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Most buildings would say they need 75% pre-lease or something like that to drive the development. We're
Okay.
not doing spec buildings or something less than 50% on most buildings.
But and a typical lease is long, like 15 years, 20 years. Is that what you're doing? Or
Well, no, I would tell you the typical is more like 10.
okay.
For hospitals, it may be a little longer. They may go to 12,
Okay.
depending on the use and whatever other lease terms. It might get to 15, but that would be the longest. Physicians tend to want it shorter, more in
Mhm.
that 5 to 7 year.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Independent physicians.
And okay. Interesting.
And
So
given the growth in rental rates,
yeah.
I'd rather have shorter leases
True.
so
Right.
that you
Not locked.
can start renegotiating at renewal.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Maybe one of these days it'll be like multifamily where you can raise it every year. Doubt it.
I don't understand multifamily. I can't do that.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. But yes, that is nice when you can do those
Well,
renewals.
sure,
Yeah, right.
sure.
And meet market, and you always have this. You don't have this escalation that you're locked into, right? And the market goes
Right.
up 2%, and you can only go up 3. You know,
You
or
know,
whatever.
that's the history of medical has
Yeah,
been for
yeah.
years it was kind of that 2 to 3%. Finally, we're up to 3 to 4, but
Okay.
that's basically the best you can do. And so you really need to depend on renewals to
Yeah.
raise it even higher.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Yeah. I bet everybody does cartwheels when renewals
Well,
happen.
one of the things that's driving it also is the cost of construction makes new construction, those
Mhm.
rental rates are high. And
Right.
so it does cause tenants to really rethink that a 5-10% increase in rent is not that bad
Mm-hmm.
at renewal
Mm-hmm.
when they're comparing to new construction.
Construction, which is really expensive right now. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, it's a good time, good place to be for sure. Let's talk about since you're building. There's this article out about modular construction in healthcare, and I just kind of laugh. I'm like, I can't see it in my brain how you could build a 3-story building. I mean, I guess you could build a 3-story building, but I'm assuming most medical office buildings, unless they're 1 story, then maybe, and they kind of look like a house, you could probably do it. But it just seems crazy to me that somebody could modularly
I would
build.
agree. It's rare. It's an anomaly when you
Yeah,
start talking about modular. Um, but you can get into some pretty create. First of all, it's all about getting to market faster
right,
and lower, in theory, lower cost. And
right,
so there are some other ways to do external or the shell of the building quicker
right.
um, than perhaps what we've done in the past. But once you get into the inside, into the core, there's I don't see modular working. Now, I have seen where hospitals have been built modularly in China and different places, but
Yeah.
it has not started in the US. We just aren't there.
So your building was steel, right? Mostly,
Right.
most all the buildings are
Well,
built.
steel and concrete.
Yeah, pretty much, right. And
Yeah.
even in the interior partitions are the metal
It's all
studs.
steel. It's
Yeah.
all, yeah, these are steel. They're not stick built buildings. No.
Yeah, for sure. And so if you're doing that, those go up pretty fast anyway. I was doing metal studs construction way back in the day. It's like you screw them on one thing, you pick it up and it all falls in place. You go down to the bottom. And so you can do interior partitions with metal studs pretty fast. That's not, yeah. So that's not nothing crazy town. So interesting. So the exteriors, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've seen like SIP panels. I've seen those kind of
Mhm.
touted, and it makes things faster. And those are just basically board of foam insulation and another board, and you
Yeah,
can
put
go up,
together.
yeah, you can go up 3 stories with those, and those are pretty cool. But I'm just like, I don't, but they're equivalent in cost. And for me, I'm like, okay, that's great. Maybe you do it modularly. First of all, you got to get it inspected, and not every building inspector can do modular. Like it's like a weird thing, and they don't like doing it, and they have to go to another place and look at how it's getting built, and then they have to go on site and look how it's
Right.
getting built. Right,
And then if depending on the healthcare uses, it may require unique inspections
right,
and approvals because of the healthcare use,
Right.
and which is different than commercial office or some of the others that might be able to work toward a modular concept.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm with you. I every time everybody talks about it, I want to talk about it, but just because I just maybe things have changed. But I just don't see it. I just
No,
like, mm-mm.
I
Yeah,
agree.
interesting time. So the other story we're going to talk about is like apparently in healthcare, 2025 is the year of M&A, apparently, because everybody's making money. And so they're all going to be, when anything's making money, somebody wants to buy it. So it is the year of M&A. So what does that do for the marketplace overall when things start changing hands? Does it create any sort of change in demand? They don't shutter locations, right? So,
No, it's rare. If locations are shuttered, they typically are out of date. If
mhm,
you're looking at it from a real estate where you're consolidating to get some efficiency where you've
right.
got multiple physician locations, things like that. But
Yeah.
no, the M&A wouldn't necessarily do that. But it is an example of where private equity is really stepping in to make
Mhm.
some things happen. I mean, it was announced earlier this week about Bain stepping up to
Yeah.
buy the rest of Surgery Partners. I mean, we're going to see some M&A activity on the consolidation of some of these surgery center entities out there
Mhm.
because we've grown so much in surgery centers, not all of them are making money.
Oh,
And I mean, it's, in some markets you've got them on every street corner like filling stations. So I would tell you that there's going to be some consolidation, and where that makes sense, if private equity can see an advantage there. um, I don't know that this concept of 25 being M&A is going to really be seen on the hospital side and the health system. It might be,
yeah.
but right now I think most of the health systems and hospitals are just trying to shore up their balance sheets and
Mhm.
and grow market with the capital they've got. We may see some. I think we're going to see some portfolio sales of medical buildings.
Mhm.
That's being talked about. Some hospitals are talking about monetizing some buildings that they own to get more capital
Yeah.
instead of just merging with another hospital, is sell some of their assets to get the capital they need. So
And
we
then,
may see some of that.
and then lease them back, do a sale lease back on the,
Right, right.
yeah.
Do a sale lease back. Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. Well, yeah, that makes sense because then they, especially if they've already depreciated the asset fully, they can do a
Right,
sale lease back and get some money, you
right,
know? Yeah. And then
right.
Dina, you'll go buy it. You'll go buy it from them.
I might.
And
Um,
it's
but
like 15% rental bump. I'm just kidding.
maybe.
Maybe.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
but no, I think the private equity piece is, and it's still out there.
Yeah.
Private equity is still looking at physician practices to buy and stuff like that. So I think that'll continue.
Yeah, the Bain did put out I was one of the articles we were going to go. They're talking about they have a global healthcare private equity report, and it was between the large deals they talked about. The deal volume went up a little bit between
Hmm.
23 and 24, but the large deal, I mean, but it almost doubled in billions. It went from 61 billion in 23 to 115 billion in 2024.
Right.
So while everybody's saying private equity is bad in the healthcare real estate space because we had everything kind of, going bankrupt, there's still plenty of deals happening.
Yes,
And
there are. There
yeah,
are. And I think the private equity will drive it into 25.
yeah, for sure.
And Bain is helping do that with, if they can
Yeah,
pull off the Surgery Partners deal.
yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, yeah, nobody's going to shy away from money. If Steph's making money, people are going to find a way to get in on that deal.
Yeah, I think the other thing is everybody's still waiting to see what the new administration really is going to do or allow to happen to support M&A. For example, I was at a meeting yesterday and heard how the FTC stopped a acquisition of a hospital under the Biden administration. They all are waiting to come back under the new administration and see if the FTC maybe has a different view of the world and will allow it to happen. So we've got to wait and see.
Interesting. Yeah, for sure. Right. I mean, he's such a
Yes,
deal maker. He's probably like, what are you waiting on? He's like, do a deal. That's all we're going to do. We're going
exactly.
to do a deal, do another deal, do this deal, do that deal. It's so funny. It's a very different feel from in the White House now, right? I mean, the U.S. feels different. I think it's almost like, and look, for all his antics, I mean, some of his antics I can't stand. Like I just can't. But he is a deal maker. He is about pushing things and moving things forward. And
Right.
let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. And so it is kind of refreshing to kind of have
Yeah.
something that is moving. Let's move it. Do something, because even if it's not perfect, and it's
Right.
like every other entrepreneur, you don't wait around until it's perfect. We got 80% of the information, you go and you figure out the rest along the way, because this is what you do.
Well, I think we'll be doing a lot of that here
Yes,
over the next few years.
Yes, exactly. So maybe not caution to the wind. Maybe let's not do that, but a little more discernment.
My guess is every week we will be reading about those kinds of things.
I
Just
know.
like we did this week with the stop and all of the grants and stuff, and then getting it
Mhm.
confused with Medicaid and Medicare and all. It's
Yeah.
typical of going fast
Yep.
to try to accomplish something. You're going to have some mistakes. It's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Of course. I mean, yes, for sure. And and then they go, oops. And then they gotta go fix it. And okay,
Well, it gives the news media plenty to talk about.
Oh,
That's
it
what it does.
does. Oh, they have plenty of fodder. He'll have fodder for 4 years. Unless he gets elected for another term, if they get that
Oh,
through
no. That's a lot of work by Congress and the Constitution to take care of that. That's not going to happen.
I know. They're gonna try though. I bet you money they're gonna try. I mean, they already said that they proposed it. It's dead on arrival. I am like, seriously, that's not
No.
But I don't know. I mean, I didn't think he was gonna win either, and he did. So what do I know? Who knows? I was like, no way he wins. Yep, he sure did. So
Yep.
okay. All right, interesting times. So the article I wanted to talk about was on this. Obviously, we talked a little bit about it on the seniors, and there's the baby boomers, but the senior housing and how does that the senior housing and the locations of senior housing? I've heard different stories. All the seniors are moving to the Sun Belt, and then I hear, nope, they're leaving the Sun Belt and going back north. And then it's like we're flying, following a flight of birds. I don't understand where everybody's going. But as the seniors move around, or if there's a big migration, that would tend to, it impacts obviously medical office buildings and hospitals and senior housing. Duh.
Yeah.
But
No, I think it appears senior housing is coming back post-pandemic, and occupancy is going up. I think that population still has money to do what they want. And I think the markets, whether it's moving to the Southeast or the Southwest or staying in the Midwest, I think that fluctuates with the mindset of the seniors we're talking about. And I think I think it supports senior housing growth in all those markets.
right.
The challenge will be, and we don't want to get there again, is where we were 5-6 years ago, where there was an overabundance. We had too much senior housing. We got ahead of ourselves. That slowed down, and so now it's starting to pick back up, and it needs to be managed. I mean, you can't just be building all this spec housing.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. Right. You need to kind of take a medical office building approach, pre-lease.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And really understand what the demand is. But, and hopefully the markets will support it, and that we won't have any other healthcare issues that really goes against senior housing, like a pandemic or something like that.
Right. And so the senior housing goes from like the 3 or 4 different, it's almost depressing. I mean, you go to one place, and then they're like, it's here, you're independent living. And then you go to the other one, and then you go to the other one. So it's like independent living, assisted living, and then nursing home or whatever it might be,
Yeah.
all on the same campus. So you just
Right.
you go to one place and hang out there. But to me, it's kind of depressing. I'm like, I don't want to, but I'm just ADD like that. I can't stay put too long in one location.
Well,
You know?
I think that's what makes, I think, the market difficult to understand what to build on that campus, and whether it goes all the way to memory care and other things that are
Right.
specialized for many of those seniors.
Right.
But I understand the business model that once you get them, you want to keep them. All
Right.
right.
That's
So
true.
once you get them into senior housing, you want them
Right.
to stay with that campus.
Right.
And over time, they will need all of that care. And
Right.
it also, and this is what, and I don't do senior housing or assisted living, but the other thing you see is many times it's couples going to these
Right.
campuses, and one spouse has different needs, and if you want to stay close to that spouse, you need to be on the same campus for all the care.
That's true.
And so that supports that concept. If you're of the age and you're worried about the spouse or your significant other being
Mhm.
at the same location, because you won't be in the same building if you have different needs.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. And that's tough. Like I can't imagine
Yeah. Yeah.
navigating that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's that.
and we're still a population that the young doesn't take care of the old. I mean, we're
Yeah,
not like other countries where we
that's true.
encourage the 65 plus to move back home to the kids. That doesn't happen here.
No, I don't know. It seems to happen in my family, but but that's right. They visit a lot. So
Yeah.
which is fine. But yeah, my mom's no longer here, but my dad is, and he's
Hmm.
about to be 82. And yeah, and we see him a lot. But it's just
And
because
does he live independently?
yes, he
Oh,
does.
that's great.
Yeah,
Still drives?
yes. Well, we might take that away. It's getting to that point. He just had an accident the other day, and I'm like, Dad,
Oh,
this is not good. I think it's his depth perception, honestly. I
yeah.
think it's starting to get bad. I'm like, I think it's about that time. I know it's gonna suck for you, but yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, I just want, if Waymo is out there giving people rides, then Waymo can drive my dad around. Like at the end of the day, he should just have
Exactly.
a self-driving
I
car.
am a big user of Waymo in Phoenix. I'm in
How
Phoenix
are
a
you?
lot, and I love it.
Really? Was it
Oh,
like kind of trippy the first time you went in? Because it's like, oh my gosh, nobody's driving the car.
it's different. It's very different. And
Yeah.
and I was in it once where the seatbelt wasn't working right, and so somebody came over the speaker, and that's when I realized you're being monitored the whole time you're inside the car. They
Oh,
see you, they listen to you, they do everything. I mean, they know everything going on inside the car, and it's probably somebody sitting in some other country. I don't even know where the person is, but
wow.
it is wild.
That is wild. So what was he saying to you about the
Well, I
seat?
mean, he knew that the seatbelt was not hooked, and it was caught in the door. And he said, I'm pulling the car over so you can open the door and get the seatbelt. And that's what happened.
Wow. So there's like driving it. Oh my gosh, somebody's driving with a joystick somewhere. That is
Well,
crazy.
I don't know about that, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
And but I will tell you, I've been in them a number of times, and they are, I believe, more accurate than any
Yeah.
driver I've ever been with. I mean, they are, it's exception. I haven't
Yeah.
done it in San Francisco or LA yet, and I'm waiting for it to come to other cities, but Phoenix has got it down.
Yeah. Austin, they have them in Austin too. I see
Oh,
them around.
great.
Yeah, they do. And there was on the news, they were talking about how um, it, it was so good that like it was driving on the right lane. It was like going down where you have just a double lane, double strip in the middle. So it's two
Right.
lanes, and then there's two lanes on the other side. And somebody was walking on the sidewalk and tripped and fell into the lane the Waymo thing was in, and it adjusted and moved in like milliseconds. Justed and moved around the person. That was like a PR, and it was on all the news talking that like Waymo got free advertising out of that thing. It was great, but it was like it really
Yeah.
worked, and they were like, "There's no way a human driver would have been able to do that.
Right.
There's just
Right.
absolutely no way." right? And it was just
It's
like, yeah, it like the person just kind of stumbled into the lane and then it went like that and went around. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
I,
No, it's pretty neat.
yeah. So hopefully then Waymo can drive my dad around. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it can do long, but then it's going to be. I was talking to there was a founder. So I'm in the business school, University of Texas, Sycamore Horns, and there's a founder there doing self-driving boats. So there's going to be self-driving cargo ships now, and then
Oh
I'm
Lord.
looking for the self-driving planes. Like it's going to be like this is crazy town. There are more and more. It's like Star Wars when they get on the cargo ship and they're like, "We're on it. We can't get off. It's not going to turn around. There's no one to talk to. We're stuck until we get to the next location." And that's exactly what it's going to be like. There's going to be no more pilots anymore. There's going to be no drivers anymore.
All right.
It's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, there will still be doctors in medical buildings. There will still be doctors in medical buildings.
There'll still be doctors in medical buildings because then
Waymo can't fix that.
No, but AI robots maybe can be nurses. No?
People still want the human touch.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we build AI agents. That's one of the things that we do. And I was talking to someone the other day who we're building out an AI agent for construction estimation. And I was talking to him and he's like, "So how does this work exactly?" And I'm like, "You're going to email and we'll give him a name. Him. I don't know why I'm saying him, but it's him. Maybe it's her, whatever. John. You're going to email John. And John, you're going to give him your login. And he's going to go in there and do all the things you want him to do. And here's your bid." And he's going to email it back to you. But you interact with the AI agent via email. And he's like going, "This is so weird." And I'm like, I know it's weird, but trust me, we've been working on this. It actually works. And so, as I'm working with an electrician and he actually outsourced a lot of his bidding. Now we're squirreling y'all, but it's okay. He outsourced his bidding like overseas. And he was like, "I just need to crank them out and I just need to lower my costs for doing estimation." Because that's all overhead, right? When you do a bid, it's just hitting you. So I was like, well, let's build an AI agent that can do the bidding for you. I mean, we've already got it to where it can read blueprints, right? So we're there. I go, then you just got to tell me what the process is. What's the process for you to go bid an electrical job, right? And so we're working with him on that. But it's really interesting. So, but he was like this whole concept of, I do what now? And I was like, it's not hiring an employee. You're hiring an AI employee, same concept, but it's an AI agent. And you're just going to interact with John via email. And you're just going to email, "I need this job bid." And it's going to come back to you. "I need this job bid, come back to you." Right. And so, so it'll be interesting. And I go, and you have to train John, right? Because initially he's going to do rudimentary things. And then eventually he'll get better as he learns more things that you're doing. And yeah, it was pretty interesting. But I had that conversation yesterday with this electrician who owns an electrical electrician company.
Well, we're using AI for simple things in leases right now.
Yeah.
But I see the day coming where tenants will have AI. Some broker will develop an AI concept. And so it'll be AI to AI and nobody will be involved and we'll end up with a lease.
Exactly. No, I know it's happening. Yeah, for sure. So there's a couple of lease administration ones that happen. One's on the tenant side and one's on the landlord side. Yes. Eventually they will talk to one another.
They will talk and we'll just wait and get a lease. I mean, it'll be done.
I know. And they're probably better than lawyers bartering.
Oh, I'm sure it probably will be. And the lawyers will really have it. Yeah.
I know. No. I know for sure. But it's like, it's interesting. Sometimes those leases take forever. It's like,
oh, it takes forever.
Come on. Seriously. How hard can this be? But they're reading, but if you can maybe the AI is going to go, "This is the dumbest lease I've ever seen in my life. Look at all this language for stuff that hardly ever happens." And maybe AI will just make better leases, I don't know. No idea.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but I know that day's coming where the red lines are going to go back and forth between AI things on the computer and humans will just wait.
Yes, for sure. And at least administration becomes a whole lot easier because every
Oh,
lease is
sure.
different.
Sure.
And then,
Sure.
that's out now, right? So there's
Yeah.
AI
Yeah.
doing
All
leases.
that's there. So
Yeah.
all it takes is just putting in,
Yep.
what you'll accept and what you won't accept, and have an AI function that takes care of that.
Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting for sure. Yeah, and then I think the other, around construction, I don't know if you've seen some of the robots that are coming out now and the AI inspection things that are happening. It's pretty cool. It's like a little square thing, not like the Starbies at Purdue, but it's like a
Right.
bigger square thing, and it takes laser imaging, and it can do inspections via lasers. Boston Dynamics has it, and they're introducing it on some of the construction sites now. So we
Wow.
can go and look for anomalies and different things. I'm like going, that's going to drive everybody crazy. Like, it's like, come on. Yes, we know it's off a quarter an inch. There's nothing we can
That's
do.
what's going to happen. It's leaning too much,
Yeah, I know.
And
Exactly. It's like, I know we can't build it perfect. We have to, we're not going to go back and fix the foundation. It's off a little bit here. Deal with it. We're going to be fine. That's what's going to happen. To be like, the robot's going to be like, that sucks. And then they're like, we're just going to build it. Y'all are awful. It's going to be like, what is wrong with you? I can see it. It's just like that movie Interstellar, where they gave the robots personality. I thought that was hilarious. They had a sarcastic robot. I don't know. It's
the
like,
day is here. No, all that's here anyway.
it's getting there. I talked to my sister works for I will say, a large medical device manufacturer. And there's only a handful. So she works for one of them. And she was saying they were using AI to help with patient outcomes, right? They're employing AI. I think everybody and their brother is talking about this whole thing with DeepSeek. You can't turn on the TV without it coming on.
Right.
And we're going to talk about it tomorrow on our data center show, because they think it's going to revolutionize, and then we don't need data centers anymore. I'm like, y'all are insane. Yes, we need data centers, but so if AI becomes free for everybody to use, but it's in China, do you think anybody's going to use it? It's like TikTok all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody will figure something out. It's like the chips all being made over there, and we're all held hostage on that. It will be figured out. It just takes time.
Yeah, for sure.
We just need some smart Americans to figure it out.
I know. I mean, we talk about it. We went all in on the data center thing here and AI, and we were winning the war until DeepSeek came out, and they're like, no, you didn't. And then it was like amazing. It was just like one day they came out. We built it like 10%. Right. It was cheaper, and it's 10% cheaper. And being an American, we're like, oh, it's 10%. It was only 10% of the cost. Let's go over here. But it's amazing what one announcement will do. And stock dropped, and everybody's stock dropped, and it was like plummeting everything. And I'm sure it'll all come back. And I think it's a little bit of hype, right. But yeah, no, but I think every industry is going to benefit from AI and starting to use AI to do automation, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
sure. To me, it's the equivalent of the internet being created, and how we all thought the world would come to an end, and it didn't, and we all depend on it now. Well, AI appears to be headed in that direction.
It's the same thing. Oh yeah, you remember Y2K and the craziness?
Oh sure.
Oh my gosh. I bought a house. I'm totally squirreling. I bought a house in 2001, and I bought it and it was a farm. We lived out on a farm. We had like 15 acres. So it had a house and a shop on it. And these people were all in on the Y2K. Like, it was bad. They had canned so much food. They put in a rainwater collection system. They thought the water thing was going to go out. They thought they were going to have to be like, what do they call them? What are those people? Survivalist people? I don't know. There's a word for them. I don't know what it is, but they were like, we can self-sustain for like a year. and we'll be okay. And we walked in and they ended up getting divorced, probably because of Y2K. And then we ended up buying that house, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what do we do with all this food?
Yeah.
So, and all the cans, and like, look at all this food they had. This is
Yeah.
crazy town. Yeah, it was crazy. But
No,
yeah,
I think AI, we don't know where it ends.
yeah.
It's got significant impacts.
It does, and the government doesn't really know what to do with it, and or how to regulate it. I don't think anybody does. I think it's obviously lots of everybody tries to equate it to the internet, right? And I'll get asked every once in a while, oh, what stage do you think we're in with AI? I go, we haven't even, like, if you're comparing it to internet, we're at like Mosaic before Netscape even came out. Like, that's where we are. I mean, we're just in the first innings. People are just using it to write letters. Like, you ask a normal human being, oh yeah, I got on Chat GPT the other day and it wrote a thing for me. It was awesome. And I'm like, that's what you're using AI for? That's like you're in like kindergarten.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But it's true. But the normal everyday person, that's all they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a start. That at least gets them starting to think about it. And then when it really does happen, as we're seeing now with industry and all, it'll be more acceptable, I think.
Yeah, for sure. People stop being scared of it, I think, and then people start using it. But it's pretty interesting. Now there's the AI wars, and DeepSeek is just, and it's amazing because they did the announcement comparing it to OpenAI. And then the next day they're like, oh, here's our image thing. And oh, here's this thing. And I'm just like going, oh boy. Okay. All right. And being American, we like the F word. We love free. Like anything that's free, we're going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of like what this whole deep thing came out. We don't know what's being worked on AI.
I know.
That hadn't been released yet. I mean, it'll surprise us even more. I mean, there's plenty out there that we don't know about.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear. So there's a founder in Austin, and his company's called AGI, Applied General Intelligence. And if you like take DeepSeek's model, and he already knew about them, and you take OpenAI's and all the Claude and Grok and all these other people, right? You have all these LLMs. And they test them to see how good they are, and they give them a score, like, out of 100, are you at 72? Are you at whatever? And they'll score them on how good they are, how the answers are coming back. His AI kicks everybody's butt, and he just hasn't released it yet. And I'm like, what the hell are you waiting on? Like somebody's gonna come out there, and then because you've been waiting and trying to perfect it. You need to get this out there. And I think he's been waiting on a partner, and he was in talks with like a big tech company, and he's waiting to hear. So I'm just like, all right, buddy. He's about to be a billionaire is basically what I'm saying.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like,
that's great.
Awesome. It's awesome. I mean, I'm all about people making money. So, and I think, yes, AI will replace jobs. Yes, there'll be jobs.
It will. I mean,
I mean,
you just have to find something else to do.
If I'm building agents to replace estimators, yes, it's going to replace jobs. So if you're a construction estimator, sorry, don't hate my guts, but we're just going to make you not an estimator when we're doing the grunt work. You're going to be doing supervising agents, AI employees doing estimation. So then your experience gets to be used in a better place than counting the number of light fixtures in a room, so you know how much the bid needs to be. Like, let's let AI do some of that kind of stuff, which is kind of interesting.
Maybe some of these government employees that take the 8-month payout will start doing AI work or something.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't believe that. All of this is just crazy to me. What's happening? I mean, I'm just like,
that's a big company letting everybody retire early, so to speak, or with an 8-month payout. I mean, that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people, for sure. And is it going to even function? Do they even know if it's going to function? I mean,
well, maybe it'll function better if we get size it down significantly. We'll see.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see. They're willing to take the chance. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's the deal. So we can fix it later if it's broken. I mean, apparently it was broken, so we're gonna change it, and now it'll break it
Right.
again. We'll change it again. So who knows? Yeah, I just remember the day when like we had the shutdowns. We actually had a government shutdown,
Right.
and it shut down. And I was actually trying to do something. Like I was trying to get some information out of like the who was it? The USDA, and I couldn't because they weren't working. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, I was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, I'll guess when they come back, then I'll get my information. So I guess now they're letting go all these employees.
There you go.
I don't know. Maybe they're going to have AI running the government. Who knows? Who knows? It'll be interesting for sure.
All right.
I don't know. Do you see any big changes? I mean, you're building ambulatory. We had one story. Let's get back to healthcare.
Okay.
Since we squirreled, we had one story about the 3 surgeries that were really driving.
Right.
So, did you think? Let me read them out. I should be good and tell people what it was. I'll try to do that. So there was 3 procedures that were really going to drive. Let me do this, and they are 3 procedures. I'm going to know what they are, but it's going to be. They're talking about more on
Cardiovascular.
Cardiovascular, yeah, for sure.
Orthopedics,
yeah. And then the migration procedures to them, it's talking about, the same things, right? So joint replacements, they think total joint replacements can be done in an outpatient setting.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It in the last 3 years, cardiovascular has become what people are saying is really going to grow. It's been slow. And what we're talking about is basically everything can be done in a cath lab being done in an ambulatory setting.
Okay.
And the comfort level there for the providers is how much backup can they get in the event something happens and need to transfer a patient quickly to a hospital setting. And how far will they take that with what they can do in the cath lab? But it's clear that is coming. And surgery centers, the ambulatory surgery centers and the businesses are evaluating those cardiovascular procedures to be done in a surgery center.
Interesting.
And then orthopedics has grown exponentially, and that's been driven both by technology and by payers. Commercial pay said we don't need to pay for these procedures in a hospital. We will pay for them in a surgery center. You can go and get your hip replaced, you can get your knee replaced, and you can go home that night. You don't need to stay in the hospital. And the technology has allowed the surgeons to be able to do that. And the management of pain, the pre and post-op with physical therapy has really made all that possible. So yes, there's a real growth in that. That's why one of the developments we're doing is a orthopedic institute that is all going to be about ambulatory outpatient orthopedic procedures on all parts of the body, and it's a real growth area.
Yeah.
And the new surgeons coming out are expecting that. The new orthopedic surgeons, that's what they expect to do. They don't want to be in the hospital.
Oh, okay. So then that'll just, if the physicians are expecting it, then that's going to just more growth of that area.
And the other thing is, surgeons have gotten so good, and we've developed the operating room so well. A surgeon flip-flops back and forth between the rooms. So I won't call it a factory, but it is a very detailed process of moving patients in and out of both rooms, where the surgeon just basically flips, changes all of their external stuff to be sterile again, and that's all they do. And they flip flop back and forth between the ORs, so that instead of doing 4 a day that take hours, they're doing 8 and 10 a day in that way. And it's changed everything. It's unbelievable.
Wow, that's great. Is that just a U.S. phenomena, or is that having everywhere?
I have no, I don't do any of this stuff abroad, so I'm not international, but I, I have to believe it's done other places. But in the U.S., surgeons have perfected that, and their teams have, so that they have two sets of teams,
Yeah.
and they're over there starting the new surgery while another surgeon's closing the one he just finished, and they're back and forth.
Yeah, well, they can bill more per day, right?
Well,
Make
sure,
more
sure,
money per day, right?
sure,
Everybody makes more money the more you can get them in there. But I think the patients, as long as the outcomes are the same,
exactly.
would like their surgeries done faster and not have to wait, right?
Right, right, right.
So,
And they can get back to normal life. The other thing is that's driving this in the orthopedic world, especially on joint replacement, physicians are recommending much earlier in life to get a new knee. Don't wait till you're 65 and you've been hurting for 10 years.
yeah,
Get it fixed when it starts, because the devices you'll live, you can't live as long as the device is going to live. That wasn't the case 20 years ago. The
no,
device was what was going to go out. Now
mhm.
the devices will be there when you're in the casket.
Wow,
So it means at 40, 45, when you're starting to feel the pain, have it fixed. And
interesting.
that is another reason the volumes have increased.
That's interesting. Well,
Yeah.
I did say I wanted a body parts store, so maybe I'll go to one
I
of your surgery centers. Do you
We're
need?
not there yet. No.
No,
You
I
won't
mean,
That won't be a tenant in any of our buildings.
I just need a new shoulder. My shoulder hurts today. Can I get a
Yeah.
new shoulder, please? Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I've had enough surgeries. I was an athlete. I've been like, I wish I had a new shoulder. My right shoulder. This was my volleyball, my hitting arm, and so my right shoulder got a lot of in my elbow. Got a lot of. I was a middle hitter at Purdue, and so I was like this all the time, hitting the ball. And so, yeah, my right arm like feels it now that I'm 50,
Wow.
whatever. And yeah, my right arm does feel it. So yeah,
How
but
about that?
supplements. I'm still on the supplement train. I don't want surgery. I don't want surgery. Don't cut on me. But I'm sure at some point it's going to be fine, and people will recover.
Sure.
Whatever that technology is happening. I don't know. I want like in the Mandalorian, the spray that the guy comes out with to heal the guy with his head when his head was like cut open or whatever. That's what I want. I want the spray.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't think we're there. That's in the movies.
You never know. You never know. I mean, real life mimics the movies every once in a while. I'm with the spray and the flying car. And once I have the spray and the self-driving flying car, we'll know we made it, and it's all good.
That's true.
Life is.
We will have made it. Yes.
That is too funny. Well, look at that. We're at the end of our hour.
How about that?
How about that? We just had a fun conversation.
Yeah. No, it was fun.
Yeah, always. Okay. Well, if anybody wants to, I don't know, sell you land or a building or whatever, or are you actively looking for deals? I'm assuming.
Well, sure. I'm always. Yeah, when you're a deal guy, you're a deal guy. That's
You're a
it.
deal
I mean,
guy. Yeah, for sure. Well, awesome. Well, how could they get a hold of you?
well, it's Landmark Healthcare Properties, and we just launched our website. They can watch LinkedIn for all the new announcements about the website. That'll be
Awesome.
the best way to get in touch with us if there's anything they need.
All right.
We just launched it. It'll be every week. There'll be something out on the internet, on the LinkedIn about what we're doing.
That's awesome. Yay.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
You heard it here first on the
Hey.
new show. Landmark Healthcare Properties. Got it. There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How about that?
How about that? All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
All right. Enjoyed it. Thanks,
All
Amy.
right. Let's see you.
Bye.
Bye. And that was our healthcare morning news show. So coming up this week, we have our multifamily on Thursday morning, and then on Thursday morning somewhere, actually in the Bay Area, at Thursday at 1:30 Central, we'll have our data center news show, and we'll be talking about all things multifamily data centers on Thursday, and more shows are coming to a stream near you. we will have we're launching our retail one, our hospitality one, and we'll also have our office one coming back next Monday. I was just out of town. So, but anyway, thanks for watching the show, and we'll see y'all soon. Take care.